Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima Ridgeback hanging style bike rack and how it fits on the 2022 Toyota Tacoma. So the Yakima Ridgeback bike rack is what you would consider if you want to carry around a lot of bikes without taking up too much space. So we have a 4 version here, but you can also get a 5 version where you can carry up to 5 bikes. Now hanging racks have their own pros and cons, like how it's a little trickier to get bikes on there compared to a platform rack, and you don't have the same type of stability. So we'll talk about that, but we're going to focus on our Tacoma here today to see how it works with the truck. So this holds on to your bike at 3 points. So 1 and 2 are going to be up here up top, and then the third is our anti-sway cage. So when you have multiple bikes up there, you want to make sure you reduce the sway as much as possible. You also get an extra strap for the front wheels, which I didn't mount right now. But let's see the difference between the sway with that third point. You press the levers, pull out that zip strip, 1 and 2. And now you can see the difference that makes. Just like their name suggests, the zip strips make it easier or faster to remove or mount your bike. Now notice the shape of our bike though. So if you have, let's say, your mountain bikes or alternate frame bikes or step-through bikes, you may need to get a frame adapter bar if you want a more level surface. You can also see how you are going to have to move these cages around just to get more clearance with those different styles of frames. So definitely doable, but a lot more hassle compared to a platform rack. This has a weight capacity of 150 pounds total. That's actually the same weight capacity whether you have the 4 or the 5 bike version. If you have heavier bikes, it might not be the best fit for you, although you do have a single bike capacity of 40 pounds. So for those heavier bikes, try to load them closer to the truck and the lighter bikes further away. We're gonna put these zip strips back in. Look at how we have a cushion on them. So there's this rubberized cushion on the zip strip since it's holding down on your frame. This matches the cushion on the cradle. So notice how there's ridges. That's going to be there for your brake lines. This zip strips zip right into the cradle to secure your frame, and you have that same rubberized texture all throughout. Now with the ability to carry around a lot of bikes, there's also a lot more space that you have to consider. So measuring from our bumper to the end of the rack right over here, that's going to be 41 inches of length added to the back of our truck. So these cradles are about 5.5 inches apart. So the 5 bike version is going to have another length added to that too. So when you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot, you already have a larger vehicle. So definitely remember you also have bikes behind you. So if you're not planning on going out for a bike ride just yet, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off, you just want it to take up less space, what you can do is you can lower the arms. See that lever up top? Lift that lever, drop the arms down. You're going to have a little bit of movement, but they're locked in the down position. They take up less space. So measuring from the bumper to the end of the rack where those zip strips are, that's going to be 15 inches now. Big difference compared to when the arms were up. Now what if you need to get into your tailgate? Well, you can actually do so even with a bike rack on, although you are going to have to take your bikes off, which is the downside to a hanging style rack. So we just tilt away the rack, lower the tailgate. There's going to be about 1.75 inches of clearance from the bottom of the tailgate to the top of the rack. So you can get in there, sit on it, stand on it, put things away without having to worry about anything touching. So to bring this back up, you just lift, snaps into place. So what is it like living with this bike rack behind your truck all the time? It is nice that you're able to lower or tilt it down to lower your tailgate, but it also takes up less space compared to a platform rack. So you have full visibility of your tail lights. This sits up, but not anything crazy where you're losing visibility through your rear view mirror. So full visibility there. Your backup camera is off-centered over to the driver's side, and it sits right in that opening of that rack. What's going to happen? Go into reverse. You will be able to see the rack in your camera, but you'll also be able to see if there's any vehicles or people behind you, which is definitely a perk. It does cover your license plate though, but that's going to be what happens with pretty much any other bike rack. This does have an 1.25" shank with an included 2-inch hitch adapter, since we have a 2-inch hitch on our Tacoma. Now we have a security pin on the side for extra security, but what really does most of the work is going to be your locking knob. So this tightens down the anti-rattle wedge on the inside, and then you can use a key to secure it. What I like with that anti-rattle wedge design though is, even though you have an 1.25" shank, if you go side to side or even up and down, we have a solid fit inside the hitch receiver. That's kind of uncommon for other 1.25" to 2-inch adapter style bike racks, so this is really good. If you do need to carry around up to 5 bikes behind your truck, this is going to be one of your few options for doing so, since most platform racks are limited to 4 bikes at the most. The downside is that a hanging rack is trickier to mount and dismount those bikes. You saw how tricky it was for me to lift that bike off of there. So for your bikes of different shapes and sizes, definitely something worth considering. But with it being able to tilt away as far as it can so I can lower the tailgate, it works really well with the Tacoma if you're okay with that hassle. So all in all, good fit, has its pros and cons though. And that right there was how the Yakima Ridgeback hanging style bike rack fits on the 2022 Toyota Tacoma.